One of the best weekends in college football history. Ratings were through the roof, and a lot of that is due to the fact that college football owned Labor Day weekend. For the first time in a long, long time, it was only college football this weekend. It usually kicks off a week before the NFL. However, how they scheduled it this year, primetime games between that had some great matchups and just almost 4 or 5 days of full college football use, a week before the NFL kicks off. Utmost importance. We're probably not going to get as good of a college football weekend, at least until conference play starts, but it's a little reminder that college football can be very exciting and dominate headlines as well as it did. One of the best things we saw, which turned into one of the most atrocious things we saw, has to do with the Nebraska Cornhuskers, right? Nebraska, Big Ten school, ground and pound type of game, good defensive team. Well, one of the sad things that happened during the offseason was in regards to their punter, Sam Foltz. Sam Foltz was tragically killed in a car accident coming back from a kicking camp in Wisconsin with some friends from other schools. Some context as to what happened we have right here in a two-part quote. Foltz and Sadler, one of the friends he was with, died in a single car crash at 11:43 p.m. This was over the summer. According to Waukesha County Sheriff's Department statement, Sadler was driving the car, the Sheriff's Department said. The car lost control on wet pavement, left the road, and struck a tree. Speed appears to have played a role in the crash, according to the department, which added that the incident remains under investigation. So what Nebraska did to honor Sam Foltz was they sent out the special teams unit after they went 3-and-out in their first drive of the season. And this was a screenshot we have from the Big Ten Network and omaha.com/Huskers, so thank you to those guys. They didn't send a punter out, and they let the clock wind down, the play clock wind down, to an enormous roar from Nebraska Cornhuskers fans. Even better, I thought was great, was Fresno State's coach declined the penalty. Instead of accepting it for the yards, he declined the penalty, obviously realized what was going on. It was a great moment. Here's a picture of Sam Foltz and Drew Brown, who is now the honorary Sam Foltz Scholarship winner, and he is the kicker for the team, and I knew that they were good friends. At least it said. But all this was wonderful. It really is a great moment in college football, just for it, unfortunately, to turn south very quickly. Jordan Foltz, Sam Foltz's brother, shared this Facebook message saying that during the game, somebody broke into their house and stole some TVs, about $1,400 in valuables. I'm going to summarize this for the most part, but if you look towards the bottom, you know, he's saying that it's been a rough go, it's been a rough summer, but like all the support that he's had has been fantastic. As we celebrated and mourned my brother for all he accomplished in his career as a person, a Nebraskan and a Husker in Lincoln, some shitbag was back here in our hometown breaking in my house and my vehicles, probably seeing our family as an easy target as we were all in Lincoln. So if you've seen any vehicles around my house driveway that would have been there dark or during after the game, please let us know. We lost a flat screen TV right out of our living room, a Blue Point, and a Snap-on tools out of my Jeep outside. I hope it wasn't because they were an easy target. I hope it was just some a-hole, right, who had no idea what was going on. But if they were targeting that family, it just goes to show every good thing that happens, unfortunately, there's such a bad thing that balances it out and balances it out in such an unfair way. The Foltz family did not deserve that.
I mean, talk about kicking you when you're already down. Like, I mean, obviously it's going to be a horrible time for any family to go through something like that. Great sign of sportsmanship, great sign of respect to that family throughout the game. I mean, college football, there's a reason I love college football. Very similar to the way I love college basketball. There's such a united front when it comes to these sports because despite the arguments we could get into on pay or not, they don't get paid. They're there because they want to play for their school. They want to obviously further themselves in both academics and if they can get to the NFL. So it's almost like you're playing for your livelihood. Like that's your life in there along with going to school. Like you're not distracted as much so by contract negotiations or the NFL, whatever else is going on. And that's what I love about college basketball as well. You won't get a better atmosphere than March Madness. Everyone is fighting for every last minute on that clock. And I think that college football, it shows through. Like there's such a tight-knit group. For that many players on a team, right, I just sense that there's more togetherness in college football than there is in any sport, really, with that amount of players. Like when you get so many, how many players are on an average roster for an NFL?
They just cut it down to 53-man rosters for the NFL from 75. Insane,
but it shows there, like they're together for a tragic instance, and then some scumbag who, I would hate to think that this world is so hard that people would look to see an example like this, where a family is going to be going to a place where they're going to pay tribute to their lost son, and someone's thinking, no one's going to be home. I'm going to go home and I'm going to raid that family. I hate that is something that's coming across my mind, but we know this world can be a hard place, and that possibly would be something that someone would do.
We should find a way to replace that flat screen TV.
Oh, no doubt. I think that one of the best things that can happen from it is that we, together, obviously posting it on Facebook, that community and the Nebraska community come together and try to replace those goods, maybe install an alarm system or something to the house if there wasn't already one, to try and help prevent something like this happening again in the future. But it is a harsh reminder that with every good deed, it often goes, I think it was a friend saying, where good deeds don't often go unpunished.
Right.
And it is an unfortunate thing to take from friends, a show that I look to for positivity, but it actually does stay true. That often when you try to show a sign of respect, there's always someone there who's looking to take advantage and exploit that.
Yeah, very well said, Francis. And speaking of just in the college football term, to kind of wrap up most of the college football weekend, I did a little bit on it yesterday.
Yeah, good clip, watched it.
A little bit of Alabama football.
Nice hat.
Thank you. The hair was not coming out that day.
Was
no way.
That Jason's birthday?
It was
Jason's birthday hair.
No way. But in general, Florida State wrapped up the weekend against Ole Miss in literally a tale of two halves. Florida State could not do anything in the first half. Ole Miss's defense looked hounding, and the tempo that they were playing, it was just fantastically drawn up, 8 yards at a time, keep moving the chains slowly but surely to build up a 21-3 lead. And then debut quarterback in his first game, true freshman, Francois, his last name?
Francois.
Jose. From pretty much towards the end of the second quarter, put up a 400-plus total yards of offense and absolutely demoralized Ole Miss. Once again, the biggest takeaway I had from college football opening weekend, there should never be a preseason top 25. If Alabama absolutely destroying USC wasn't a great example of it, the 20th ranked team in the country couldn't score a touchdown? Okay, that's pretty bad. I know, and there's a huge USC fan base that will bounce back. No, you won't. Notre Dame, the 10th ranked team in the country. Notre Dame constantly overranked in the history of Notre Dame football. They don't have their own conference. They get this murder schedule. Everyone prays they run the table so they can be in the national championship game, as seen from a few years back where another Nick Saban, Alabama defensive specialist team demoralized them too. Yeah. Number 3, Oklahoma, against very underranked Houston, who has proven time and time again over the last 2 years that they are a top 10 team in this country.
Yeah.
Absolutely demoralizing. The word is demoralizing for the entire weekend. But the one person, two people to undoubtedly keep an eye on all season long. Christian McCaffrey is a special athlete. I haven't seen anybody like it since Cam Newton when he was running the Auburn offense in 2010, and before that, Reggie Bush. And Nick Chubb, back from Georgia after injury, looked great. 200 yards on the ground, 200-plus yards on the ground. So there's some guys to keep an eye on. This is going to be a great draft class, a great offensively talented draft class coming out of this year. Especially. So in terms of the football season, roll Tide.
I mean, I was engrossed in college football this weekend. I was watching Texas A&M versus UCLA, double overtime, which was an interesting game. Really enjoyed it. And then I think that there's something so encouraging at watching. Am I right when I say it's the Southern schools, their fan base is so rabid and so loyal? I remember Texas in general were phenomenal throughout that game and their atmosphere.
Shut down.
Yeah.
They shut down for the weekend.
McConaughey was out there, all right.
He was, with the hook 'em horns. Hook 'em horns.
Yeah, so, I mean, I was engrossed. It was phenomenal football. I do love about college as well is I think it's a lot faster paced. It's like in between the snaps, they like to, not faster paced in terms of the
actual play. Okay,
I'm talking about just in between plays. Like they like to try and, I don't see as much breakage as what I do in the NFL. They like
less
to try
commercials.
And snap. Yeah, less commercials.
Less advertisements.
Which is one way to get me more engrossed. So
you didn't see Florida State sponsored by Camping World? They were. I've never heard of the company, and then all of a sudden I get advert after advert of Camping World.
It worked. Now you know what Camping World is.
I know where
Money well spent.
All my camping goods.
Your 25 million pounds of advertising for that 3 seconds.
Yes.
You just get one fan right here. Camping World.
Guarantee you they paid it in pounds too. That's a fact.
I said pound, damn it.
Comment below.
Damn it.
Who are you looking forward to watching most in college football this season, and what do you think about the good deeds, unfortunately, never going unpunished with Nebraska and Sam Foltz? At Francis_Maxwell, at JasonRuber91. Let us know on Twitter. We'll see you next time.